boys and girls, man and woman. I appreciate you all coming back to my content, and once again I'm bringing a guide to give you an idea on what ISK that you can risk in EVE Echoes or EVE Online without suddenly getting broke. This video is about making sure that you don't lose too much ISK while doing PvP or anything really. That can jeopardize your stuff. And if you play EVE Echoes, there's also a giveaway in this video as well, if you solve it. I'm not sure why I have to explain that. Anyway, let's hope you be the first one, or better yet, I'll let the first 2-1 win. We are all in different situations as well as different tiers within this game. Some have played for years, some have started today. Yeah, I'm looking at you. So a specific ISK number is not the easiest way to give. But what I can give you is the right mindset and how to know what is expensive or cheap to you. We have all heard the phrase, do not fly what you cannot afford to lose. This is way too shallow, and it is easy to misunderstand, because what can you afford to lose? I'm sure you got a ship in your hangar right now that you can lose without bothering too much. Bleep. But can you afford to lose that Navy caracal you got there? Yeah, maybe. Or your Dominix that you bought a long time ago. Oh, I forgot that one. Maybe I can bring the Ashimu that I bought recently. Yeah, that won't die anyway. If you have not had this question before, then I assume you are very new in EVE Echoes. Or EVE Online for that matter, since this video kinda covers both. Yeah, I kinda need to reach out to more people. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Or maybe you're a whale in this game. But then, you might not need this video. But stay around anyway for the jokes. Dear whalers, you might think you are not a part of this EVE school, and we all know that you buy your plex for all intents and purposes. But in PvP, you're not gonna krill anyone. And no, I'm not a whale, even though I organize event all the time. I'm sorry for these bad jokes, but you're welcome. If you didn't laugh at any of these jokes, then you're a blowhole. So how do you know if it is expensive? I will use a few terms in this video. Liquid ISK is the ISK that you have in your wallet. Tied ISK is the ISK that you have invested in terms of ships, well, basically overall assets. Daily income is what you make on an average basis when you're farming, grinding, or take the time to get the asset to pay for stuff. So with that out of the way, let's talk simple numbers. So let's say, if you have 100 million ISK in liquid ISK, that is wallet money. Using a ship that is about 30 million ISK is quite fair. With insurance, that is about a 10 million loss. In small numbers, this is a good value to sacrifice. It can also be higher or lower depending on how much tied ISK you got, and that is the overall assets. If you got many ships and less ISK, for example, you can easily get away using a more expensive ship. But let's say that you're very new and you only have a couple of million, then 30% of your value will not get you far. Cheap PvP ships are around 1 to 3 million ISK, and you're gonna lose them. And before you got more than maybe 40 to 50 million ISK and a decent income for your tech level, I would advise not to do any real PvP. I would stick to the faction wargames. But players that have played longer have more stuff invested, and this is where stuff gets tricky. It is easy to have a few battleships, maybe a striker, a faction battleship, and I mean, yeah, you feel like you have a lot of ISK to PvP with. But IP is expensive, and doing PvP in 10% of your wallet or asset can be too much. Me, for example, my income is my market, and so most of my assets are tied. At the moment I have around 3% liquid ISK and the rest is tied. My income weekly is around 1 billion, unless I wanted to sell a lot that week. And this is not a set number either. When I started, I did put 20% of my assets in the market, and the more it grew, the more ISK I had left over. So I had to change the amount I kept into more on the market. After a time I had 20% of my value in liquid ISK, while the rest, 80%, was tied in the market. Now the percentage are quite low, but it's still more ISK than I can use on a daily, weekly basis. The same way you must think when playing this game. Having 100 billion will make you able to PvP with some big ships, you know, billion ISK ships. In IP that is. So about 3 billion ISK ship. So it's a faction ship. Now there is no right or wrong, but thinking about this will always make you relatively safe in not losing your hard-earned ISK. So if you do PvP with a battleship today, and it's decent fitted, the IP for losing that ship is around 150 to 200 IP, I would assume that you have an asset or a wallet around 5 billion. Or if you have a really good income. Because the game is not only about what you like, it's about doing the less fun stuff so that you can afford doing what you love and not grind too heavy for it. We all have been there when we grind for 2 to 3 weeks to get something big and shiny, and then we lose it in a few hours. And the reason may vary. Thinking back to those weeks and knowing that you have to do all that again is not something you want to do. If this happened to you, then you flew a too expensive ship. Keep this in mind, my fellow pilots, and it's not only for PvPers, because if you're a miner and you want that new mining ship, can you really afford it? Can you afford to lose it? How long does it take to mine those ISK back? And if you're a marketeer, can you afford to keep pushing these sales? Did you calculate the sales tax and the broker fees? There's a lot to think about, so make sure you fly the right value compared to your assets. And I see you guys again.